Why is there a bipartisan consensus that's pretty much written in concrete these days that the deficit is a bad thing, that the national debt is going to crush our grandchildren, this consensus that we are debt constrained and tax constrained, revenue constrained, and you mentioned the name Peter G. Peterson. So would you fill us in on that a little bit?
Well, here's someone who has made a financial commitment to establishing a narrative in the American psyche and hammering it and hammering it and hammering it, and recognizing that it would take time, it would take, financial commitment, but that this message, if drilled in hard enough and long enough, could infect every political party on both sides.
What hit the economy first was a housing slump. Fears spread to Wall Street. Consumers tightened their purse strings.
The U.S. Federal Reserve cut its key interest rate by 0.5 point.
The I word, inflation, is coming to the
Major developments on the lending crisis in the U.S. Oil and gold prices are spiking.
Nuclear right here on our financial market.
And it's complicated as of where we are in the election cycle.
Huge disconnect between Wall Street and Main Street. Sadly, we've gone from an optimistic and hopeful society to one of great anxiety and increasing pessimism. And our leaders in Washington have become absorbed with the short term while acting irresponsibly with tax cuts, spending increases, unfinanced war costs, expansions of entitlement programs, and government bailouts.
How you would go about tackling the deficit problem in this country.
I watched the first debate between Obama and Romney, and somebody said, who do you think won? And I said, Peterson. I mean, it's obvious. I'm reading just today in Reuters put something out about the CEOs of more than 80 big U.S. corporations. And these corporations include the likes of Goldman Sachs and Boeing and J.P. Morgan. And these guys have all gotten together, and they're pressuring Congress to reduce the federal deficit. And what do they want? They want tax cuts, of course, and spending cuts. And what do you think's on the receiving end of the spending cuts? Of course, it's entitlements, right? So these CEOs from more than 80 of these big U.S. corporations got together and wrote a letter in the Wall Street Journal website. It was supposed to go up today, in fact. And they're emphasizing the fiscal cliff and the need to bring down the deficit. Now they want, they're concerned about, how big the deficit is. And I read that the statement itself was organized by a campaign called Fix the Debt. And this campaign's been urging Washington to, put aside their partisan differences and let's all get the U.S. back on a sustainable fiscal path and all of that stuff. And Peterson is connected to this group. And so he seems to be in everything and behind everything.